Okay, peeps, welcome back. So today we're going to be going over our buy, sells, and dividends for the week of, let's see here, May 12th through May 18th. So with that being said, let's get it. All right. So first thing I want to go over before we get into the actual content here is to give a shout out and a thank you to Birdman23, who is actually also a monthly subscriber. Well, I mean, subscriber, of course. So thank you. But what I mean to say is actually a monthly member. So pays the membership fee on a monthly basis through YouTube. I forget what it's called. Channel memberships. That's it. Uh, for early access to the content. I believe he was also the guy that made 15K on GBAT. So congrats, dude. Good job. Yes, we did sell GBAT. We made a $2,300 profit on that, roughly thereabouts, which I'm going to get into today, but just wanted to give a shout out for the super thanks. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the first thing I want to go over here is the dividends. So in terms of dividends that we got from Robinhood, we got dividends from YMAX and QDTE, which I'm actually not going to go over those first. I'm going to go over the M1 Finance account first. So pretty much the only dividends that we had here on the M1 Finance account is just HRZN, which again, we don't usually get paid a lot of money during this week. It's always kind of towards the end of the month and the start of the month that we get most of the money in terms of dividends. But that's why we're also throwing in some profits and options premiums in there. Really got to get some more dividend paying stocks towards the middle of the month, roughly about this week and next week, because we don't have that many right now. So as of right now, just 45 cents on HRZN. I did want to point out that we made $99.31 in profit on Zim, which I'm actually going to go over right now. So you guys are probably wondering, why did we sell Zim? We've held it for like 8 months. I mean, it just wasn't doing anything. It's pretty much just dead money. I mean, we had $600 in there. We could have, of course, added more, but I believe, I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure I had said something along the lines back then of I would add more if the dividend kicked back in, but it never did. So after a while, we just decided we were kind of done with it. We just want to move the money out of Zim since it's not doing much of anything and move it into something else that is going to make us money. Basically, take our money where it's most well treated. And of course, you guys know there's a conflict going on between Israel and Iran and Hamas and all that jazz. So since they're not paying a dividend, we just decided to move the money out. It's really just that simple. So go over here to trading, as you guys can see. So we had a couple of sells here. So sold Zim. Our cost basis was like roughly around $600. So you can see where the excess profit came from, and then sold GOOD, which I actually need to hold on a second. I actually need to look that up because I was not even aware that we had sold that this week. I actually thought that that was on a previous week. So give me a second, fellas. I got to look on the spreadsheet here. So let me scroll over real quick. Yeah, so we did make a little bit extra on that. So that was $5.53. I'm just going to add that to this number real quick. So 553. And then, of course, add it to this number. As you guys can see, that's our total for the week. So 553. So yeah, there was GOD, and then also had what was the other one? Zim. So we sold those two for a little bit of profit, $99.31 on Zim, and then the 553 from GOD. And REITs, the good stock is basically a REIT, is what it is. And REITs have been beaten down. The REITs and the financial sectors have been beaten down because the Fed's raising rates, which makes it more expensive to borrow. So it makes perfect sense. So a lot of people are actually buying into REITs right now on the premise that when the Fed cuts rates, the price of REITs and finance stocks are going to skyrocket. So like the banks and stuff like that. So yeah, there was a little bit of excess here. M1 didn't catch all of our orders, which sucks. So we kind of had to sell the rest off. You can see that there. But of course, that pretty much covers that. So I'm actually going to go into the portfolio now. So you guys are probably wondering if we still even have the same stocks that we used to have. And the answer is yes. So we're pretty much in a holding period on M1 right now. Not buying, but not selling. So you can kind of see the holdings right here. Not much in the way of dividend growth stocks. Again, like we stated a long time ago, the goal here is to get the high yielding and dividend income stocks, which is like anywhere between 10 to 20% per month, up to a certain level. And then we'll kind of spread the money out over into different venues like dividend growth stocks, dividend growth ETFs, and so on and so on. So you can see Tesla here, PDI, RIV, EFC, ACP. Pretty much all the same positions that we used to have. Nothing's really changed here. Might have added a little bit of money, sold out for a little bit of profit here and there on a couple of positions at random, but it is pretty much all still essentially the same stuff. And we do want to add money into this in the future, but as of right now, we're not going to do that. Excuse me. So let's now get into the dividends here on the Robinhood portfolio. So the first one I believe is WiMAX. So you guys can see we've added like an insane amount of shares this week into WiMAX. We have over 100 shares now, which is a lot. Maybe not a lot compared to some people, but it's a lot for us. So $79.35, as you can see there, just roughly about a day ago. And I'm going to go all the way down to QDTE. We have actually added considerable amount of shares on this one as well. Although it doesn't seem like as much as WiMAX, but you got to remember this stock is more than twice the price of WiMAX, so it costs quite a bit more money to actually buy these shares. And they also do not have being able to buy by the dollar amount on Robinhood yet. So you can see here $2.62. That's actually on a weekly basis, so that total would come out to I think roughly around $12 a month or something like that. So the dividend amount here, as you guys can see, $82.42. And in terms of profit, so profits, we made the 553 from GOD. I actually forgot about that one. Bitcoin, $36.86. Actually sold out of the Bitcoin, so I'll show you guys right here. It's not on this portfolio. You guys can see all of our positions here, but there is no Bitcoin. So basically, just decided to get out of it. We're going to roll the money over into dividend-paying stocks and options. We could buy some altcoins with it, but we're going to buy altcoins anyways in the coming months because, again, in my opinion, the bull run's not going to be over for about a year to year and a half. And we have not seen an alt season yet, so it makes perfect sense to buy alts now, in my opinion. Just my opinion, not financial advice. And in terms of Bitcoin, I mean, we can buy Bitcoin anytime. Not too worried about it. I mean, if the Fed cuts rates and the market's tanked 20, 30, 40%, we're going to get a golden opportunity to buy the dip on the inversion of the yield curve anyways. So again, that's not really a top concern right now. So 36 cents or $36.86 from BTC, $99.31 from Zim, and then $2,283.18 from GBAT, which I'm going to go over right now. You guys can see we do not have it in this portfolio as of right now. So these are pretty much our three positions, which we will add some more to either in the coming days or at some point. In terms of transactions, you guys can see the transactions here. So basically got into GBAT. You can see the prices here, basically $12.60 average price and $13.70 average price. And then, of course, the selling, I don't know why it didn't sell all as one unit, but it was pretty much all of it almost exactly the same price. So it is what it is. And it's pretty clear we sold for a profit versus the amount of money that we put into it. So the total amount from just profits alone for this week comes out to $2,424.88. Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. So in terms of options premiums here, I'll just go fly through these real quick. So we're looking at CLSK entry date. It was a covered call 5/13/2024, expiration date 6/7/2024. Again, CLSK has kind of been getting beat down into the mud, and our cost basis is really high. So if we want to increase the premium, we have to do further out expirations. So that's $30 times two for two contracts, so $60. Mara entry date 5/13, cover call exit date 5/17, $42 in premium. That's the one that we actually just posted about on X that closed out for a profit of $50, if I'm not mistaken. So Riot 5/13 cover call, closing date 5/17, $13 in premium. We closed early for $4, so $9 in profit. CLSK, 514 cover call. The expiration date's a month later, so 614, $26 in premium times one contract. Palantir, 517 cover call, 614 close date, $24 times one contract. Riot, 517 cover call, entry date, 524 close date, $29 times one contract. This was basically at the money, but it's in profit, so just above our cost basis. SoFi, cover call, 517 entry, closing 524, $5 times six contracts, so $30. And then AMC, 517.24 covered call, 524 closing of the contracts, and that's $22 times six contracts, which again is $132. And again on AMC, kind of what we're planning to do is we're just going to collect the premium. If it doesn't rip to the moon by next Friday, which in my opinion is definitely a possibility, it can actually rip to the moon by next Friday. We'll collect the premium, no big deal, and continue to buy off the market at whatever the market price is. But if it starts ripping past our all-time high by next Friday, we're going to close out, buy all of the contracts back immediately, and just let it rip. Okay. Because again, AMC's all-time high was at $400 last cycle, and our average cost basis is less than $8. So yeah, that's a 50x our money. I'm not saying it's going to go back up there, but again, we have like $4,500 invested and a 50x. I mean, do the math. So it's not really worth it to hold the calls if they're just going to keep popping off to the moon anyways. So with that being said, let's get into the buys real quick. So buys, WiMAX. We'll go ahead and go over this real quick. So let's see here. Pop this open. Okay, so we have basically 16 shares here on the 13th, 16 shares here on the 14th. As you guys can see, we added a ton of shares in the last week, so more than we usually do. But they were kind of more bulk buys, like we weren't just spreading our money out. We were actually getting really aggressive with it. So FEPI, at this point, so we have over 100 shares of WiMAX. At this point, we have 41 shares of FEPI. As you guys can see, we're actually in profit. So that is a testament to the share price holding up its value. I'll just put it like that. So go over here to history. See, I got to scroll up quite a bit here. Not sure what's going on. So you can see here 6 shares or 6.1 shares on the 13th, 6.1 shares on the 14th, 6 shares on the 15th. We stopped buying WiMAX at that point because, again, the X date had already passed. 0.29 shares on the 16th, 1.45 shares on the 17th. So I'm going to go over to AMC, which is a completely brand new position. As you guys can see here, we have a lot of shares. So currently down 41%, which is a lot. But again, we've been in this position before. CLSK, SoundHound, Altimmune, Tesla. I mean, guys, the price of any of these stocks is eventually going to recover at some point. It almost has always happened in my experience. I'm just going to be real with y'all. It just takes time. Okay. So 600 shares, we pulled our cost basis down from basically like, I think 1050 down to 736. So quite a reduction, about 30% there. And if I'm going down to the history, let's see here. Okay. So 55 shares, May 17th. Actually, this is not showing everything. Yeah, here we go. So 88 shares, May 13th, 92 shares, May 14th, 10 shares, May 14th, 60 shares, May 14th, 252, May 15th, 19.16, May 15th, 4 shares, May 16th, 4.5 shares, May 17th. As you guys can see, the cheaper it gets, the more we can buy. So 55 shares, May 17th, 15 shares on May 17th, and 6 contracts on May 17th. Okay, so scrolling down here to QDTE. So we're actually also in profit on QDTE, which again is good because that means that this thing is not having NAV erosion. I know that's a lot of people's concerns. So this one's held up pretty nicely so far. So scrolling up here, we got 7 shares on May 15th, 1 share May 16th, 3 shares May 17th, 2 shares May 17th, and then got the dividend. As you guys can see, we're not buying fractals here because, again, you can only buy whole shares on Robinhood. As of right now, they don't let you do fractional shares. So next one's going to be HUD 8. So we have a total of roughly about 343 shares. Again, this is kind of a combination play between options premiums in the short term and potential massive profit in the long term because, again, HUD 8's previous all-time high was $80. As you guys can see, our cost basis is $10, so it's an 8x on our money. I don't know exactly how much we have invested right now. It's a lot, like maybe 2,500 or 3,000. We are down a little bit, but not nearly as much as AMC, so that's good. Now I'm going to go ahead and go down here. As you guys can see, we bought 6.68 shares yesterday, actually. And then another one that we're front running the ex-dividend date of, aside from QDTE and FEPI, is also, where is it? TSLP. So we bought some shares of that this week. And again, I'm pretty confident they don't let you do fractals on this. No, they do not. You can only buy whole shares. So down a little bit, only 6%. But again, we have pulled the cost basis down from like $26 or something down to 21. So it's much easier to do when you only have a few shares versus like a lot of shares. It becomes much harder at that point. So bought 4 shares here on the 17th. Now, in terms of okay, I don't know what, that was weird. Okay, so anyways, in terms of crypto, so we sold out of Bitcoin. We did actually buy a little bit of crypto yesterday and have to buy more today, but the crypto that we bought today basically was crypto.com. Now, I still don't know which 4 to 6 we're going to ape heavy amounts of money into, but I can tell you guys right now for certain 2 of them is going to be AIOZ and Filecoin, because I think they have big potential. I mean, Filecoin from the current price to the all-time highs is like a ridiculous number. It's like a 50x or something. And then AIOZ, of course, is a smaller cap AI coin, which, again, if it gets anything like Dogecoin, it's going to be like a 50 to 100x from the current price. So, yeah, you guys can see here we bought just after market open, $50 a crow, so about 300 tokens, and probably just going to continue to buy this one because, again, when volume flows into the crypto space on the centralized exchanges, which a lot of volume is going to flow into that. I mean, you'll have things like Uniswap and MetaMask and stuff like that. And we know what that is, where people will use those to exchange tokens, and that's fine, whatever, not a big deal. But for the exchange tokens, the most popular ones are going to be things like BNB, KuCoin, Crypto.com, maybe even FTX, although I'm not so sure about that one. But when the money flows into the exchanges, that's going to pump the price of these coins, and we definitely want to go where the money's going to go. So anyways, this is our buy, sells, and dividends for the week. Hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.